Hey, good evening, everybody. How are you doing? My name is Stephen Kosmiewski, and I have been taking over the Splatterpunk Horror Readers group for the month of August. As promised, today I'm going to do a little bit of an Ask Me Anything. Um, I'm not entirely familiar with the comments section here. Okay, I see Wesley Southard is watching. Hey, Wes, how you doing? Um, So if somebody could leave a comment so I can see if I can see those in real time. Now, if there are any questions in real time, I'll be happy to answer those. There is also, if you scroll down further on the home page, okay, I see Matthias Mint. Hey, Matthias, how you doing? If you scroll down a little bit further on the home page, okay, Kaylee Edwards says, hello. Hello. Good to see you, Kaylee. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And Wes says, what's up, bro? What's up, bro? Stephanie Duncan says hello. Well, looks like we're having a little bit of activity. That's making me feel better. I was a little bit worried. Anyway, I am taking over the Splatterpunk Horror Readers for the month of August. Hopefully it hasn't been too intrusive. But I also wanted to give you guys some free books, free audiobooks, some nice giveaways, some stuff to get to know me a little bit, and that sort of thing. So in that vein, I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that I have around my house that might interest a Splatterpunk Horror Reader. So who am I? What have I been doing? I have been a horror reader. Don Shea says, I'm here for the announcement of Brain Eater Jones 2. Well, you're going to be here for a while, Dawn. Although we can talk about that if you want. Let's go ahead right over here to the brag shelf. This is one of the things I wanted to show you folks. Okay, good. That does seem to be flipped over. Okay, so here is just in general, this is the bookshelf that is in my living room here with some of the books that I have read, to be read, that my girlfriend has read, and so on and so forth. I've reserved this area for my brag shelf. So this is maybe this is something that only authors do, I don't know. But when you get a copy of a book, usually put it on your brag shelf. Kaylee says, I have bookshelf envy. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll get there one day, Kaylee. I'm not sure if she means specifically the brag shelf or just in general. But yeah, no, this was really, actually, we just moved. So it was really important to us to have the books in a prominent place. So we were glad to do that. Stephanie Duncan says, nice. Thank you, Stephanie. Anyway, let's zoom in real quick. So what Dawn is referring to there is my debut novel, Brain Eater Jones. Now, yes, there is a fun little thing that came out before my debut novel, which is Another 100 Horrors, which is out of print. Whenever I open that up, it is the craziest fucking table of contents you've ever seen. It's everybody that's anybody in the genre right now is in that book, published in 2013. It's like Jay Wilburn, Armand Rosamilia, on and on and on. So Dawn is hoping for the announcement of Brain Eater Jones 2. Well, keep watching to find out, Dawn. Now, for you Splatterpunk fans here, this is the Ghoul Archipelago, also came out in 2013. That's my big Splatterpunk magnum opus. Now, if you are a fan of zombies, if you are a fan of Splatterpunk, I am giving away audiobooks of the Ghoul Archipelago elsewhere on this site. I will be happy if anybody wants to comment on this, ask me anything, or anywhere really, to send you an audiobook. That's one of the things I'm offering to the Splatterpunk horror readers this month. Incredible audiobook by one of my favorite narrators, which is Jennifer Fournier. Maybe Fournier, I apologize. I don't think I've ever actually asked her. Billy and the Clonosaurus. I also dabble in science fiction, which will come in prominently shortly. Kaylee Edwards says, ooh, Fat Zombie, hands down the best zombie short ever in that anthology, and it's yours. Oh, Fat Zombie, yes, okay, by Paul Mannering. That's a good one. I know Jay's in that one as well. And Kaylee is a fan of The New Dark Ages, which is, yeah, probably my best short story. These are a couple of anthologies I've been in. Sci-Fi, Brave New Girls. That one benefits women's education in STEM. That's a good one to support. And I think they're up to number 6 now. At Hell's Gates, that series benefits the traumatic brain injury. What is it called? Oh my God, it's been a while. Well, anyway, it benefits traumatic brain injury in veterans. That was when that came out, was when I first announced, publicly, that I am a veteran who suffers from PTSD. Rejected for Content 3, let's go to Every Kingdom Divided. Not so much for Splatterpunk people, but that's kind of a dystopian sci-fi one as well. Hunter of the Dead, that would be great for Splatterpunk people. It is out of print right now. Should be coming to you later this year. Well, I don't want to promise anything, but let's say coming to you soon from Crossroad Press will be the republish. There's another version of Every Kingdom. And then we come to the hematophages. Okay, so this is what I really wanted to focus on here. So what the hematophages is this is me blending all of my great loves in the writing and watching community and so on and so forth. So this is what I guess you would call splatter-fi or space horror or something along those lines. This was my first novel that was ever nominated for an award. That was nominated for a Splatterpunk Award, nominated for the inaugural Splatterpunk Awards, much to my surprise. And it is by far my most popular book. Possibly Brain Eater has had more sales, but look where they are. Now, yeah, I know, I'm a weirdo. My brag shelf is in perfect chronological order. I know. You can tell my day job. I'm a bureaucrat. I'm not just an artist. Hematophages is by far the most popular, but it came out years later, like 4 or 5 years after Brain Eater. So Brain Eater may have more sales. There we have /Viver. That was my first. And we'll get back to hematophages in a second. /Viver would also be good for Splatterpunk fans. This was my first collaboration with Stevie Kopis, who is a brilliant zombie author. I was just tickled pink to work with her. I appeared in Clickers Forever, Whispers of the Epoch. Here you see some repeats here. So here's where we republished Billy, republished Ghoul. That's, well, yeah, actually, come to think of it, Another 100 Horrors is, I'm looking right at it. The word, what's this called? 100 Word Horrors 2. Reprinted that one I was telling you about from 2013, Another 100 Horrors. Here's the Italian language version of the hematophages, which has a very odd, I shouldn't say odd, it's beautiful in its own way, but a very Italian themed cover there. Brain Eater Jones is republished. Now, here's what we wanted to talk about. This is Skin Wrapper. Now, if you guys have been hanging around the Splatterpunk horror readers, you've probably seen this. I am giving away free copies of Skin Wrapper basically all summer to all comers, particularly to the Splatterpunk horror readers. Now this is the prequel to the hematophages. It focuses on the skin wrappers, which if hematophages are space vampires, skin wrappers are space mummies. Now why, you may say, why does this crazy guy hate money? Why would he give away his book for free? So we'll skip ahead. There's a couple other good things here, but not so much for Splatterpunk fans. Here's some good stuff. These Bludgeon Tools and Brutality, those are good for Splatterpunk fans. If you haven't checked them out yet, from K-Trap Jones. Battered Broken Bodies, that was my other Splatterpunk Award nominated short story. Sun Poison is in there. And I'm going to skip over these for now. If you come over here, you'll see this, the beautiful new pink cover to the hematophages. Now, this version of the hematophages features Skin Wrapper, okay? So that's internal. Now, yes, it is an entire story. It's an entire short novella. But I figure it's sort of like giving away, you know, a free chapter of a book or something for promotional purposes. So Skin Wrapper itself is no longer out. It's now under this cover, which is why I'm giving them away. So now that being said, I am also giving away skin wrappers. Again, if you haven't grabbed one, we're going to be talking about that next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, by which I mean 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Splatterpunk Horror Readers. So go ahead and grab your copy of Skin Wrapper. We'll talk about it then. I'll even answer the big question everybody always asks me about the Hypnotophages if you want. I guess you could even ask me tonight, you know, since this is an Ask Me Anything ostensibly. The other big things that will interest Splatterpunk fans, clickers never die. So we'll go around to us in a second to show you guys my book porn after we're done with my brag shelf. I may have done this in the wrong order. But yeah, Wiley Young and I got to reboot the classic J.F. Gonzalez and Brian Keene Clickers series. So this is one of our splatteriest books ever. That also came out this year. And finally, weird thing to have on a brag shelf is somebody else's book, right? Well, this is a book that I published this year, which is You're Mine by Summer Cannon. So you'll notice this little imprint thing here, that French press thing, that shows up a couple of other places under my self-published stuff. So that's actually my personal imprint. So Summer Cannon's You're Mine came out from French Press this year. Another great one. I almost don't even want to talk about it because I don't want to ruin the big surprise at the end. You guys really have to check that out. It's a great, great book. Wesley Southard says, Your Mine is such a fantastic novel. It really is. It really is. So that being said, I'll take you guys over here a little bit. This is kind of my signed horror shelf, you know, that would interest you guys here. So, probably pretty easy to tell who my favorite author is here. This whole first section here is the signed Brian Keene's. I think I even have a signed Gonzalez. I think that Clickers vs. Zombies is signed. Kaylee says, I second this, that Your Mine is a fantastic novel. Good, good. Glad to see that's getting some love. It's really, really deserved. So these are a lot of my signed Keene novels, probably up to about here. I didn't get Ted Klein's signature. He's a notorious recluse, so no surprise there. Phoenix Island, I have met John Dixon. I would say we're friends. He's a real good guy. Here we have Slaves to Gravity, speaking of Summer Cannon, and speaking of Wesley Southard. There's my signed Slaves to Gravity. Brew, little secret for you. Bill Braddock and John Dixon are the same person. So those are both signed. No, sorry guys, the Barker's not signed. Oh, here's Vicky Beautiful. If you've never read a Summer Cannon, read Your Mine. But if you've never read two Summer Cannons, Vicky Beautiful is one of the most dark, disturbing splatterpunk novellas I've ever set eyes on. There's Killer Chronicles by Cannon as well. I think that's made out to her favorite Pooh Bear, which is me, apparently. Bring Her Back by Strand, great novel. A couple of Carlton Mellicks. Good friend Trista Borgvart, who did Rabbit's Feet and Polarity, who I actually named the spaceship after in Hypnotophages. Here's a Southard. There's a signed Wesley Southard, since he's watching. Closing Costs. That's a good one. Signed Rachel Autumn Deering, Husk. Signed Kingdom of Teeth by the Sisters of Slaughter. Signed I Do Terrible Things by John Goodrich. Oh, and signed Mary San Giovanni, also good. So, yeah, let's flip it back over and see how I'm looking. Horrible and sweaty on this hot August night. Just like, oh my God, I'm gonna blank. Neil Diamond, yes. Okay, Wesley says huzzah, I guess just the general idea of getting to see me on a regular weeknight. So that's the brag shelf and the Splatterpunk shelf. So I thought you guys would enjoy that. I do have something else that I want to show you guys that you might enjoy while we're waiting for some questions to roll in. So, like I said, I have that. I'm going to pull up my computer in a second here and kind of simultaneously have my phone with your live questions, and then I'll check out that thread from earlier today. I think I only saw one or two questions on there, so maybe that bodes well. Maybe that means everybody's tuning in live. So if you're going to miss it for some reason, or you got to dial off or whatever, you can put it in that thread. If you're going to be here, ask the questions live, I'll answer them live. Last thing I want to show you, let's flip it around again. Okay, well, there's my Bronze Star, Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal. This is all my military stuff. So again, freaking weirdo, keep everything super organized. You can see there's a shelf above what should probably be my greatest accomplishments. You know, here's my Eagle Scout Award, Best English Student Award, my German degree, so on and so forth. Above that is my military stuff. But above even that, because I'm just that kind of fucking weirdo, is my horror memorabilia shelf. So everything on this shelf has a very, special meaning to me for one reason or another. There's the Bunny of Shame, which the less said about that, the better. Here we have, if any of you are fans of the Conan the Barbarian series, this is some grave dirt from Robert E. Howard, which my good friend and collaborator Wiley Young brought up from West Texas, East Texas. There's some sand from the beach from Jaws. There's a mug that, speaking of Jennifer Fournier a few minutes ago, the narrator of the Ghoul Archipelago, there's a mug that she got me when that came out. I won't explain all this stuff because some of it's getting down into the weeds. This is a lamp. So Dawn, if you're still watching, you'll appreciate this. This is a Brain-Eater Jones themed lamp that a fan made for me. This is a bottle of alcohol that a hero of mine gave me. And this, of course, is a skin wrapper that was made by Christine Morgan out of what was formerly a Barbie. Oh, hang on. I'll get into that in a second. Stephanie Duncan says, "Thank you for your service, ma'am. My husband is an Army vet, too. My question is, did you start writing during your service or after? And how did it influence your writing?" Oh, that's a big one. Okay. Let me just finish up with the skin wrapper and then I'll sit down to answer that one. So this is a skin wrapper that Christine Morgan made me. And you can see, if you guys have read the hematophages, she has one of these blinking light contraptions that they mention in the hematophages that's following her around. So I always thought that was really cool. And then, like I said, I'm not going to explain everything, but everything on here has a special sentimental value to me. Let's flip it back around. Okay. There we are. All right, I'm going to pull up the computer. All right, so Stephanie, thank you for your question. She asks, did you start writing during your service or after? Way before. Let's see, this is too much light. Let's get a little less light. Let's get a little more into. This is live broadcast, folks. This is happening. This is not stage. I started writing probably in the second grade. I remember I won some kind of an award for my writing when I was like 6. Now, to be fair, I also think they were giving out awards to anybody that could work a typewriter, Oh, it's cute. It's a little kid that can, string 2 words together on a sheaf of paper. Yeah, I'm showing my age. Half of you guys don't know what a typewriter even is. So I've been writing forever. Now, she asks, how did my service influence my writing? I have a lot of military characters. People sometimes want to collaborate and ask me to help them with their military characters. So I talked about Clickers Never Die earlier. which is actually a World War II period piece. So Wiley Young wrote a lot of the work in there. I kind of went through and I was like, I'm not sure a Marine would say this. I'm not sure, a Imperial Japanese. I mean, I know a lot less about the historical stuff, but I was like, I don't think a military person would say this. I do think a military person would say that, and so on and so forth. I have written a book, which I didn't even mention when I was showing my brag shelf. It's called Broken Down Heroes of the Western Night, and that is basically no sci-fi, no horror. It is I don't want to call it a memoir, but it's got a lot of my military experience wrapped up into it. And aside from that, well, I guess I've said a couple times now in the video now, I'm very organized, I'm very mission-focused, I'm very, oriented towards things that a lot of artistic types are not. I have to credit that to the military. So when I can do something like deliver something on time, as requested, a lot of artistic types, Douglas Adams famously said, I love deadlines, I love the sound they make as they whiz by. I cannot handle that. I've never missed a deadline without, like 6 months notice, asking in advance, that kind of thing. Gosh, I'm still trying to find that. Here we are. Here's the Splatterpunk. Okay. Now, Kaylee asks, Steve, do you ever make yourself feel sick when you're writing gory scenes? That's a good question. Actually, I guess I have. Over the weekend, I was on a marathon writing binge, and I was writing like 5 short stories for a submission process. And there was one in there that I was sort of stealing somebody else's story, and I was like, oh, this is really brutal. I don't feel right writing this, and as I'm writing it out, I made myself a little bit sick. Wesley says, question, what do you think is the strongest aspect of your writing? I have had people say to me, it's my characters. I'm not 100% sure why. Well, maybe that's one of those things where, like, if you are good enough to recognize how, was it Socrates or somebody said, I only know enough to know that I know nothing. Maybe it's one of those things where Kenny wants to join me on video? Alright, what the hell, Kenny? Let me answer this question on video. So maybe it's one of those things that I know enough to know that I feel like my characters are too shallow. I've had a few people say, oh, your character work's really amazing, and I'm like, I feel like all I ever do with that is, okay, now Kenny says, pay no attention to me. You don't want to come on the video? You gotta make it clear, man. I'll bring you on. It's fine. I'm flailing up here. So yeah, let's go with that. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. I don't know how many of you Splatterpunk fans are interested in the actual craft of writing. Now, if you are, I would talk about craft of writing for an hour and a half. I am an author, after all, so I'm happy to bore you all to death with that. But barring that, let's go with character work. I've had a couple people say that, so I'll just trust that you guys know better than me. So, yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of a tour of not my house entirely, but, some of the stuff that's important to me and that kind of thing. And, we answered a couple questions. Feel free to keep asking questions as long as you're here. I'm here for you all night, whatever you guys want. Valerie Botchler is watching. Hey, Valerie. Oh, Wesley says, question. Where can your readers meet you in person over the next year or so? That's a good question, Wes. And now I'm glad that I sat down and got up my computer. But you guys can probably all see the reflection in my spectacles here.
let's see what my 2022 upcoming appearances are. KillerCon did not. I apologize. I did not make it to KillerCon this year. I really wanted to. Obviously, I was up for the Splatterpunk, as I mentioned to you guys when I was showing you Broken Battered Bodies, edited by Matt Shaw. I was up for the Splatterpunk for Sun Poison. I really wanted to get down there. However, it seems like I'm going to do it now for my British fans. It seems like airplane travel, apparently in Britain they say aeroplane. I learned that this week. Apparently, just airplane travel has just been a fucking nightmare. And I'm not driving 22 hours to Texas. I did that. I did that in 2004. I drove 24 hours to Lawton, Oklahoma from Millersville, Pennsylvania. I'm not doing that again. But getting on a flying death tube right now, that wasn't happening either. So, anyway, that was a long way around of saying, didn't make it to KillerCon this year. Heard it was amazing. Heard Judith Sonnet won the Gross Out contest, and Bridget Nelson came in second. I saw Jamie.
Oh, maybe I should show you. Here's another thing I can show you guys real quick.
In case. See, now I turned the light off. That's a slappening magnet that Jamie Benedy gave to me in April, I think. So I keep that now on my filing cabinet where I keep all my taxes. So all my most important stuff is protected by that slappening magnet. Jamie won the Gross Out contest at Scares That Cares. And of course, then there was all the Splatterpunk winners at KillerCon. It sounds like it was an amazing time. I'm sorry I missed it. But sorry, guys, not even for you. I love you all, but I'm not getting on a flying death tube in August 2022. Hopefully things are better next year. I don't know. Maybe we'll be in a civil war. I don't fucking know. Anyway, back to Wes's question. Can you guys tell I get off on tangents? I know. For all the time I've spent this whole time saying, I'm disciplined and this kind of thing, and I just get off on tangents. Anyway, I have a signing in Baltimore at Protean Books September 10th with Wes, Haley Piper, Summer, I think is going to be there, a couple other people. I'm going to be at the I guess it's actually called the Merrimack Valley Halloween Book Festival in Haverhill, Massachusetts, Saturday, October 15th. Also with Wes and a veritable assload of splatter guys and gals and in between and everything. Splatter writers. And then I will be at Monster Mania 52. That is the one in Oaks, Pennsylvania. That is Veterans Day, November 11th to 13th. So, that is where you can find me for the rest of the year. If you want something and you're not going to be able to make it out there, get on my website, Manuscripts Burn, or if you friend me on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Let me know. I just sent out 5 books today, Hematophages, and a couple of my limited edition release Horsemen. I just sent those out today. So if there's anything you want a paperback, I can get it out to you. Ebooks and audiobooks obviously go through the websites. So that was like a 20-minute answer to Wes's question. Kelly asks, how did you and Wiley decide who was writing what in Clickers Never Die? That's a good question. We broke out that story. Now, that was actually our second collaboration. Now, again, I kind of glazed over this when I was going through the brag shelf, but because it's very, very soft, mild horror. But our first collaboration was The Perfectly Fine House, which, like I said, it's a great book. But the splatter fans are going to be like, when does the killing start? So I didn't mention it. But we broke that one out, and we did this very choppy A-B. I was like, okay, Wiley, I'll do chapter 1, you do chapter 2, and we'll go from there. When we were breaking out Clickers Never Die, we broke it out a lot more by character. And we had basically two timelines. So Clickers Never Die was supposed to be a reboot of the Clickers series. So again, you can pick it up, guys. If you've never read a Clickers book in your life, you're fine to just pick up a copy. It's a reboot. You're not going to miss anything. If you are a diehard, lifelong Clickers fan, you're going to find some good stuff in there, Easter eggs, that sort of thing to enjoy. So we broke it out. So I said, okay, we're going to have James Cameron at the beginning of Titanic type character in the modern day. Then we're going to have a World War II narrative. So James Cameron character goes out, finds some stuff in the ocean, blah, 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 blah. We do the flashbacks to the World War II stuff. So I did that modern day character. I did a castaway, who for a large portion of the book is away from the main action. But it's also one of my favorite parts of the book because it's a boy and his clicker. It's the love affair of a kind of a demented castaway who thinks the clicker is his pet. And then I did the Imperial Japanese officer for the War, what you said. And then Wiley had the lion's share of the work. He did all the American Marines. And he had the whole squad, this whole Dirty Dozen, Inglorious Bastards, Band of Brothers kind of thing, where he just wanted this one squad and everybody's perspective is reflected and that kind of thing. So he wrote those out. Aaron Beauregard is watching. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. I know why you're watching. We'll get to that in a minute. Drake Cooper is watching. Hey, Drake, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So we basically did it by character. Wiley wrote the lion's share of the novel. At that point, he probably wrote, 60% of the novel. That's where my military training came into play. And I went back and I edited that thing like a beast. Because I was like, I know as a writer why you did XYZ. No American Marine would ever say that. Like, he'd had just stupid. There was some stupid shit like, and I'm sorry if any of you are Marine Corps vets, but once a Marine, always a Marine. I'm like, okay, so this guy says he's an ex-Marine. He would never say that, even in World War II. Once a Marine, always a Marine, crap like that. So I feel like I made my money on that one with doing the editing. So that's how we did that. Okay. Kenny says, Motor City Nightmares in Detroit. You mean when I was talking about driving to Killicon? Or, yeah. No, I don't think he'll go for Detroit. Maybe he's saying he's in a Motor City Nightmare in Detroit. All right, let me know what you want there, Clint. Okay, so like I say, if you guys have questions, keep asking them. But now, since we have the redoubtable, legendary Aaron Beauregard, Kenny clarified. A con I need to attend. Motor City Nightmares in Detroit. Okay. That's probably again with the plane thing. I'm in central Pennsylvania. Let's see how it is next year. Send me some info on that. If they send me an invite, I'll probably go. If I'm going on my own dime, depends how the plane city thing. Wes says Motor City Nightmares is a con in Detroit. Okay, gotcha. Thanks, guys. I've never been to Detroit. I had a stopover in Chicago once. I've never really been to the Midwest very much at all. Maybe that's going to set off an argument. Maybe Detroit isn't considered part of the Midwest. Anyway, while we have the legendary Aaron Beauregard on the line, let's answer one of the questions that we got here. This is ridiculous. I have my work mouse on my day job mouse on my desk here, and I keep working it instead of using, my writing mouse. I have, two computers. I keep using this, and I'm like, why is it not moving? Fucking idiot. Okay. All right, so if we go back to that thread which came out earlier today, and I said, let me know your AMA questions. So we have a question from Matt Shaw. He says, would you rather have little arms like a T-Rex or a little wang like Aaron Beauregard? Now, first I want to say, Matt, Aaron Beauregard is a friend of mine, and therefore I question the presuppositions of your question there. Okay? Now, the reason why I question those is because modern research dictates that Tyrannosaurus rexes may actually have had proportional arms. So I question your whole premise here. But if I take this question at face value, would you rather have little... I'm hoping that Aaron's cursing right now. If the question is, would you rather have little arms or a little wang? I have thought about this for 9 hours. And the conclusion I've come to is that I would rather have a little wang. I will tell you why. Because you would not be able to masturbate. So if you had a little wang, but regular sized arms, you could still masturbate. But in the reverse, you'd have to have a whole setup of some sort. You'd have to, I don't know, have a doll or something. So it sounds like there's a whole investment involved in that. So that's my answer to that question. Oh, okay, all right, we have another one in the chat. Kaylee asks, which book did you enjoy writing the most? Which book did I enjoy writing the most? That's a tough one. I don't particularly enjoy the collaborations. That's not a ding on my collaborators. But the whole process of going back and forth throws off my chi, or whatever you want to call it. You know, like if I'm in a groove, I may have to stop, or if I'm not in a groove, I may have to push forward anyway. That's just a problem I generally have with collaborations. Then a couple of the books I wrote during NaNoWriMo, which if you guys are writing, writers or writing fans, you probably know National Novel Writing Month. I know there's this thing where if you're a real writer, you're supposed to say you don't do nano, blah, blah, blah. So maybe I've perpetually blocked myself in to the amateur status or whatever. But I love it. I love doing it every year. I love having an excuse to be like, okay, gotta get 50,000 words done, gotta get a whole novel done, you know, at least once a year. So a couple of them were like that. Brain Eater Jones, Billy and the Clonosaurus, parts of the Ghoul Archipelago, a lot of them, really. So I think the one I have the fondest memories of writing is probably the Hematophages, so maybe that came through on a page, I don't know, it was just rather well received. Because that was at a very difficult time in my life. I'd just been divorced, or I guess I wrote Hunter of the Dead when I was going through my divorce. But I had just been divorced, and it was really something that got me out of my head into as far and distant a land as you could possibly get, a billion light years away. Yeah, as I think about it, because I didn't particularly enjoy writing Hunter of the Dead. I stopped and started on that there's like 5 or 10 like incomplete Hunters of the Dead or whatever, Hunter of the Deads or whatever manuscripts on my hard drive, because I kept stopping and restarting that one. Yeah, so I guess that's a weird roundabout way of getting to that. But there you go, probably the Hematophages. So, wow, I really appreciate it, guys. We've been out here for 40 minutes. I'm happy to answer any other questions that anybody has. But barring that, looks like we'll be shutting down a little bit shortly here. So yeah, anything else? Okay, so that's who I am. That's what my deal is. Again, if you are, a Splatterpunk horror reader, please grab a copy of Skin Wrapper. I'm also happy to give you an audiobook of the Ghoul Archipelago. You can request it on this page. There have been a couple of areas on here. There have been a couple of areas on Splatterpunk Horror Readers where I've been giving that stuff out. You can go back to those, or you can just get in touch with me directly. It's not really important to me how you get it, just that you get it. I want to have a really fun book club next week, so hopefully a lot of you will be listening there. So what the rest of the month looks like in terms of the Splatterpunk Horror Readers Takeover is next week book club, like I said. So that will be the 24th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Book club on Skin Wrapper. Again, it'll probably be more like this, more informal. I will have my really nice webcam that my sister got me for Christmas a couple years ago. So it won't look like this, and I won't be walking around. It'll be really clear, crisp, and everything like that. That'll be the 24th. Then the 31st, I think, again, Wednesday, 8 p.m., I think we're going to have a farewell. And that should be about it. So Wes Southard says, thank you for doing this. Well, thanks for coming out, Wes. I really appreciate you guys. And I know Wes has a, brand new baby. It's really cool of you to, come on and support me, for this period. And Aaron, Kaylee, Kenny, and Tara Rusticano, Sweetgone, and Drake, and Valerie, and Stephanie, and Kaylee, and Audrey Benetti, Renee, and Justin, and all you, Dawn Shea, of course, and Brandy, and whoever else is watching now, and whoever else is watching later. And if you have any other questions or anything like that, you can put them in the comments here, or again, reach out to me on Twitter directly or whatever. So, hope you guys all have a great night. I don't really have a tagline, but stay splattery or something. Stephanie says, thank you for the saying. Well, thank you, Stephanie. Thanks for listening. So, yeah, there you go. Stay splattery, guys, and we'll see you next week.